big help.
Yeah, for sure. Ever since Sammy's been out, our offense it hadn't been slow. It's been slower, for sure. But yeah, adding him back to the mix and pairing him again with Kelsey and Hill just adds another weapon for Mahomes, and it's going to be huge because I think with the way Andrew Luck and the Colts looked against Houston, they didn't put up too many points, but they kind of seemed to be doing whatever they wanted to at will. And our defense is a lot worse than Houston's. So our offense is going to need every single weapon they have at their disposal to kind of keep up and keep pace with the Colts and hopefully get out a little bit in front if our defense can be opportunistic like they have been this year and force maybe a couple turnovers or a couple well-timed sacks.
Yeah. Does this seem like this has the makings of a shootout? It looks like just both offenses are firing on all cylinders, and I mean the Indianapolis defense is pretty good, but I don't know. It seems like this is one of those games where there's just going to be a lot of scoring.
Yeah, it definitely has that feel to it. I don't know how long the Colts will be able to keep that up just because of, they're going to be in Kansas City. They're going to be in Arrowhead. It's going to be cold, mid-January game. They're not in the Lucas Oil Stadium. They're not in Energy Stadium like they were last week. So I think the Colts are going to be out of their element a little bit. They're not going to be used to that. And I know sometimes weather's a little bit overplayed, but it's still going to be a factor. And I think it might start out kind of a shootout, but I think toward the end, the Chiefs are going to pull away and kind of win a little, handedly.
Yeah. Why is that? Do you think they're just the Chiefs offense is unstoppable?
For the Colts, I think so. Yeah. I don't think the Colts can really do what they did against Houston. I don't really see in their secondary how they're going to slow down our three main weapons and Hill, Watkins, and Kelsey. And Damian Williams has been a godsend at the running back position. And our O-line is very underrated. But, yeah, I think they're just going to run out of gas. I don't think that defense is going to be able to really slow down our offense at all. And I think our defense is going to make a few plays here and there. I think we may get a well-timed sack, even though the Colts offensive line has played extremely well. And I think Andrew Luck has been one of the cleanest kept quarterbacks all season. And on the other end of that, the Chiefs have put up, I think they're tied for first with the most sacks in the league. So that's going to be a big matchup there, the Colts offensive line against our pass rush. And I think over time, our pass rush is kind of wear them out and eventually, third, fourth quarter, start getting to Andrew Luck a little bit.
Yeah. So you mentioned Damian Williams. I mean, that was losing Kareem Hunt was a big blow, but how has he done with the running game?
Damian's looked really good. We actually signed him to an extension a few weeks back. We signed him to a 2-year extension. He was on a 1-year deal, but that in itself just speaks volumes to what the Chiefs organization feels like Damian Williams can bring to the table. Losing Kareem was a really big blow, and that whole situation is really unfortunate for everybody involved. But next man up, and Damian Williams looked good in preseason, and he had a few carries here and there during the regular season, and he always looked good. And but when he started toting the rock more and more and being that primary back, man, he kind of exploded on the scene. He doesn't really he's not as naturally gifted as Kareem Hunt. He's a different type of back. He's more of a shiftier back with a little bit of surprising power behind him, but he's great in the passing game, which is huge for our offense. He's good for probably 15 to 17 carries a game. Probably going to catch about 5 to 6 receptions a game if needed. So yeah, he's been huge.
Mahomes is having an amazing season. Is there any concern that he might not? Is this his first playoff game?
It is. It sure is.
Yeah. So is there any concern how he'll do in the playoffs?
Personally, for me, no. I'm not worried about it. I mean, the guy's shown out week in and week out. Even when he doesn't play well, he still puts up really good numbers. So I don't think he doesn't appear to get rattled, and in the biggest situations he seems to shine the brightest. And there's no other place to shine the brightest in the playoffs. So I think he's going to come out, and I think this is going to be his element. I think he's going to really thrive in this sort of environment in front of our home crowd, and it's going to be a big deal number one seed in the playoffs for the first time in, I think early 90s. I'm not worried about Mahomes. I think he's going to come out slinging the rock. I think Reed's going to have him prepared. Bieniemy's going to have him prepared, and he's going to connect with Kelsey. I think Kelsey's going to go off. He'll be good for a few big plays. I think come Saturday, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Mahomes to Kelsey show.
Yeah, unfortunately, I know all about that show. As a Steeler fan, I think just for fun, they show up at Heinz Field and have a few more touchdowns. I was at that game when the Chiefs came to Pittsburgh, and it was it was pretty sad. It was the Steelers defense just could not stop the Chiefs. It was amazing. So yeah, that's it's been an amazing offense all year. It's nice to know he did that against other teams too. But that's an amazing offense, and Mahomes is having a great year.
Yeah, it truly is. Yeah, and there hadn't been too many teams to really be able to slow them down. I think our fewest points scored all year has been somewhere in the mid-20s. I think we've done that a few times. But I think only once did we lose it to that Thursday night game against the Chargers, that heartbreaker. I think we only had 28. But our offense is definitely high powered, and I just don't see how the Colts are going to be able to slow it down. I don't think they have the weapons to do it in the secondary. Malik Hooker is still fairly young, and I don't know if they're going to put him on Travis Kelce or what their plan is with that. But Desser, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, their number one corner. I don't think he's got what it takes to cover our receivers. So yeah, I just don't see how the Colts defense can even slow down our offense at all. I don't think Colquitt's going to see the field.
Yeah, it's hard to stop that. It's interesting they have the over-under at 57, so they're looks like they're also expecting a high-scoring game. So, all right, sir. Thank you so much. Talon Graff is at Coach Graff 34. Co-host of the Coach and the Dawn podcast and writer for Sports Al Dente. And thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
It's the NFL Divisional Round of the playoffs, and the Cowboys go to LA to face the Rams. With me to talk about it is Ashley Nicole Baker. She is at Ashley Baker _21 and host of the upcoming podcast About Nothing But Sports. Ashley, welcome.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
Doing all right. So are the Cowboys. Wow, that was a really nice win last week.
Pretty nice. Very, very excited with the result.
Yeah, the Cowboys haven't won too many playoff games lately, but as a Steeler fan, I can't really talk about anybody's playoff success. We haven't had much of our own lately, so.
You still got bragging rights, though. You guys still have some bragging rights, So especially when it comes to talking to Dallas fans, you have plenty of bragging rights, so you're okay.
Oh yeah, there was those Super Bowls a few years ago. Although now I was too young for those Steelers teams of the 70s, but I do remember very well when they played the Cowboys in the 90s, and I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, but I remember Neil O'Donnell throwing 2 interceptions in that game. Oh, that hurts.
And I was kind of young then as well. I can't tell you how young, because then I'd reveal my age to you guys. But, I'm pretty sure my mother was running around the house, yelling and screaming. And I definitely recall that, yelling and screaming at the television. She's kind of passed that down to me. So going on during that time in my household.
That's the only way you should be watching a game, yelling and screaming. But why were they able to? Why have the Cowboys been so successful this year, and how were they able to beat the Seahawks?
I would say it first starts with the defense. Most people will say the fact that they have been feeding Zeke the ball, which is a huge part of it, absolutely. but that defense has been quite surprising to a lot of people this year. This is the first year that they've been almost basically fully healthy. And there has been games throughout the year where the defense has literally kept us in the game because the offense was maybe stalling in the red zone or turning the ball over, whatever the case may be. The defense has definitely been probably, in my mind, the number one factor why they have had success this season. And definitely the number one factor as to why they beat the Seahawks last week, because we really didn't get it started until kind of the end of the second half, late third quarter and then into the fourth quarter is when the offense kind of started to turn around a bit. Had the defense not saved us, I think that the Seahawks would have put up way more points than they did. So the defense has definitely been our magical charm this season, I'd say.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, the Seahawks had one of the best running attacks in the league, if not the number one, and the Cowboys just shut them down, and that's super impressive.
Yep, very. Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch and Randall Gregory. I mean, they're playing lights out. They're really playing lights out, and this is a defense, as a Dallas fan, that I have begged for. I have begged for this type of defense for so many years, so many drafts. I couldn't understand why, the organization wasn't doing what we were supposed to do defensively, and finally, it's coming together. It's exactly what we need it to be. So definitely the defense for sure.
I'm very jealous because you guys got that Leighton Vander Esch in the first round of the draft this year, and the Steelers were hoping that he would fall to them in the draft, but the Cowboys took him, and it looks like he's had a great year.
Yeah, defensive rookie of the year. He did win that.
Wow.
And I think what has made him even better was, really being under, Sean Lee, who unfortunately can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
And that spot in the defense is just so important to how effective the defense is. So when you don't have a Sean Lee or a caliber of that, you're not going to get the maximum results. So I really hadn't heard of him. But when I heard that Dallas had their eye on him before the draft, I decided to look at some of his highlights and see what he was about. And I'm like, okay, he looks pretty good. And then they drafted him. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not too mad at the draft. And, then this season started, and I just saw how great he was. And I'm like, wow, like this was a great pickup. Because I think Jerry wanted to draft someone else. And the front office told him, his sons told him to draft Leighton. We're going to draft Leighton Vander Esch, and that was like the best decision they could have made. So
yeah,
I'm excited. Sorry, Steelers Nation. Sorry, we got him. Sorry about that.
It's well, we have plenty of our own problems. So yeah, not having a good linebacker is we're a mess right now.
What is going on?
We're just. It's been a soap opera for a couple years now, and that's just we just are good with the drama, and I don't know what's going to happen with Antonio Brown. I don't know if he's going to be on the team next year or not. It's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to happen. I mean, losing Le'Veon, with Le'Veon not coming in, and then this stuff happening with Antonio Brown. That was the last thing I expected to happen because you kind of were already hit with the whammy with Le'Veon, him being arguably the best running back in the league. And now there's a potential, there's a possibility that your guys are going to lose arguably the best wide receiver in the league. You can't make this stuff up. You literally cannot make this stuff up. The stuff that's going on in Pittsburgh, you cannot make it up. I feel for you, Joe. I really do.
The people that write for like Days of Our Lives and General Hospital or stuff like that, they should just come to Pittsburgh and just follow what the Steelers are doing. You get lots of soap opera storylines from what those guys are doing. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's and I honestly, Joe, to be honest with you, because I am a female, obviously, I enjoy